as the saying goes, like, the bumper on a bike is your forehead. So I mean, for me, you know, I don't want to ruin my bumper. I like it, you know. I have a nice helmet. You know, I spent a little bit of money on it. I actually bought my gear before I bought the bike, so I knew what my budget was for the bike, which I advise for anybody. I didn't want to spend all my money on the bike and left with no gear. I actually bought it the year before. So we're here in Canada. It's a graduated licensing system, so you have to get the M1, the M2, and then the, oh, nice bump. So you get the M1, the M2, and then you get your full M, very similar to cars, for those of you who are in the area, who are familiar with Ontario's provincial driver's license laws or procedures. Well, look at that. Now that's a job to do with a hand mower. SMRT, Wiggum Landscaping, get her done. So where was I? Oh yeah, yes, the graduated licensing system. So M1, M2, and then the full M. So the M1 is a written test. The M2, I'm sure a lot of you guys have known this, you have your M1 or your M2 already if you're looking to buy a bike, or maybe some of you are just doing your research and looking to get into it. Fellow biker, what up? Get that biker wave going. I remember my first biker wave, man. It was a moment, you know. I felt like I was cool, like I made it in life, you know. So yeah, once you have the written test done, you've got your M1. Next, what you can do is you can grab a bike, you can learn for a little bit. You ride during the day only, not on the highways. Get comfortable with the bike, you learn a little bit about it, and then you go for your M2. So you can either go straight to the ministry and you can book the test, or you can go to a driver training school. That's also another option. Going to a driver training school is the other option. It's like 3 times, 4 times more expensive, but I went to it. I highly advise it. I got to ride the bike first off. I'm riding someone else's bike, so if you drop it, you break it, whatever. I mean, hey, that's what you pay for, you know. $100, do the test, $75, whatever the fee is. Or, you know, you can pay $400 and say, hey, you know, let me ride your bike. Let me see if this is something that I'm even comfortable with. And some places will actually offer for half price, like $150, $200, a 1 day. Hey, am I comfortable on a bike? Is this something I like? Just to try it out. Hey, if that's your thing, go do that. But, you know, knowing me, I've been on bikes, you know, once or twice when I was younger. I loved it. I have some friends with bikes, so I said, hey, let's give her a go. I went to the driver training school. I loved it. I really learned a lot. There was 1 day in class and then 2 full 8-hour days. I lucked out. I took 2 days off of work and nobody decided to show up for the course. It was August. It was beautiful. It was like 25, 28 degrees. You know, I had my jacket, my helmet, my jeans, and I just wore my work boots, which are the minimum that you need. You need to have denim jeans, you need to have ankle-high boots, 8 inches that go right up to the ankle. You need a denim jacket at the minimum, but, you know, I'm all about all gear all the time, so at Gap Brigade. So I went, like, I already got the jacket last year, and the helmet and all that, so I got my stuff. I went out, did it, got her done. And I really learned a lot. Evasive maneuvering, like if there's a pothole, how to kind of get out of the way real quick, emergency braking, turning, how to feel comfortable at parking lots, slow speed maneuvers, which a lot of people overlook on their bikes. Everyone's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go get a bike. They go buy a bike and they just go on the highway or they go in a straight line and see how fast they can run. For me, I mean, I'm more about getting through the curves and really getting to know the bike and, you know, pushing the suspension, pushing the brakes, you know, to the max, and really learning and becoming one with the bike. To me, that's what riding's about. Ideally, in a track situation, you can push the suspension, push the brakes, and really give her. But yeah, I bought my gear, all my gear, I bought it the year before. So I did the M1 in August, or in July. The M2, I did it in August, and from there, I took the winter to do research on which bike I really wanted. I rode the CBR 300. It was a nice little bike, but those bikes that you have at the driver training courses, I mean, they're beat to hell. They're dropped, they're kicked. So what you're getting on, you don't really know what the actual bike when you buy it will be. I mean, some of them have 50,000 kilometers, you know, 60,000 kilometers on those bikes. So, you know, tires are worn out, the suspension's shot, who knows, bearings, anything. The clutch, like the clutch on the first bike I got was done. Actually, the first bike I got on, so I'm 6'1", I'm 220 pounds. The first bike I got on was the Honda Grom 125cc. My knees where I could not ride. My knees were almost going through the bars. I literally couldn't turn. I sat on it for a sec just to see what it was like. I was really heavy for the suspension, being 220 pounds. You can feel it drop. It's like when you're sitting in a really soft couch or like a soft bed, you know, your butt just sinks right in. That's what the suspension was like on that thing. Got off that, got right on the 300, and they also had, what my goal was, I wanted to ride some other bikes. They didn't have any dirt bikes. I've ridden a dirt bike before, but they also had a Rebel. The Rebel, I forget if it was a Rebel 300 or a 500cc, but just to try the cruiser, you know. I've always been about sport this and sport that, but I mean, at the end of the day, you know, getting a cruiser, that lowrider lifestyle, I mean, you never know till you get on it. Don't judge a book by its cover. I'm big on that. Just because you might assume that, you know, hey, I like going fast like a sports bike, they're sexy, but hey, you might find out, like, you know, this one's not that bad. But if you start going for some of the super sports, 600cc's and above, I mean, you know, you're putting a lot of weight on your wrists and your forward leaning angle, I mean, and your back as well. I have a lot of friends who will go for a ride and they're like, man, I'm in pain, they need to stop. And I'm like, man, you know, we've been on the road for like an hour, let's go. Like, you know, I came to ride today, you know, let's do this. You know, I'm good to go. I'm still fresh, an hour, 2 hours in, I'm good, you know, and I have no pain. Whereas some of these guys, they're really hurting, they're really feeling it. So I mean, yeah, this is a really nice little bike and I really love it. Like, you know, there are some people out there that, you know, all cruiser lifestyle and, you know, certain brands or certain cliques or niches, you know, they might almost hit the roadkill there, re-kill the roadkill. You know, you have your big bearded tattoo, no jacket, no gear riding, whatever, you know, people who aren't about the sport bike life and all you crotch rocket riders. But honestly, you know, I heard a lot about that and I've never come across it, you know. I mean, yeah, there are some people that don't favor them, but I've never had like any hostility or any negative vibes. Like, you know, even being out here on the 300cc, the R3, you know, a lot of people on their bigger, horrible exhaust. I don't know if you guys heard that. That's horrible pickup truck exhaust. So yeah, a lot of people, when I'm out there and I'm on this bike, they're like, hey man, that's really cool. Like, you're learning how to ride. That's wicked. It's your first bike, second bike. What are you riding there? What's going on? How are you finding it? You know, what are you learning? Where do you ride? What's going on? Do you want to ride sometime? Like, I've made a lot of friends on this bike. So, I mean, I've had nothing but love on this little bike right here. So, oh, look at that. You know, just make your own road when you can. 4 wheels, you know, you get some kind of, I feel like some people, they have like this, you know, lane sharing program card. And I would love to get in on that, you know. How do I become a member? Is there a monthly dues? The whole no signal club, lane sharing program, whatever lane you want, whenever you want, how you feel, you know. As the wind blows, you kind of change lanes. You learn a lot in the first year, and even then 10 years down the road, you know, sometimes you've been aiming for the same hole your whole life, but you still hit the seat, right? So those you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. If you know, you know. Baby, baby. Let's get a little pull going. Alright everybody, thank you guys for watching the video. I really appreciate every single one of you taking the time out. If you have something to say, something to share, everything is always appreciated. We're always learning together. No one's perfect. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. And, you know, it's always nice to hear other people's opinions on things, and we can grow together. We can become better individuals, better riders, and learn from other people's mistakes. So like, subscribe. You can check us out on a shorter term, on a daily basis, on Instagram at Triple Moto Bypass. So that's Triple Moto Bypass, all one word. You can check us out there. Stay tuned. Have a good one, guys. I totally forgot where I was. You know, you have your and whether this is your first video, this is your, you've been, you know, if you know, you know, baby, baby, you know.